Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about, can we increase wealth for everybody using all this tech? So there's been so much talk about AI that I feel like our ears are going to bleed at some point. But on this episode, I really want to spend time talking about really four key things. And then in future episodes, we'll break it down a little further. But with all of this tech, again, can we actually increase wealth for everybody? Can that be a collective goal that we have? I want to talk about where we've come from to get to this point, right? We need to know where we've come from in order to know where we're going. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about some really interesting tech innovation that I think could change the way us humans live. But I also want to talk about what some of the concerns are moving into this fast-paced mode and space and time where tech is moving. What are some of the concerns? And then I want to talk a little bit about what we've actually traded. So in order to increase wealth for all, some societies have more wealth than others, but I also want us to acknowledge and recognize what we've traded for that financial wealth. So let's break those down in this episode. And then in the next one, we'll continue answering the question whether or not we can actually increase wealth for all and how. All right, so I think that fundamentally, yes, we can increase wealth for all using advanced technology. The idea is around the augmented age. Can we augment humanity with technology to actually make ourselves stronger, more powerful, better human beings overall that can actually do more? And I have to ask, you know, if you had to sit down and think for a second, where is society heading? Do you have a sense of that for yourself? Because it's a question that I've asked myself a lot. I've seen shows, I know we all have, like Black Mirror, Altered Carbon, amazing shows, amazing. I'm waiting for them to come back. But the ideas that they've given us are, if we let big tech continue going on this train, they're going to be the ones who decide for us what direction humanity is heading in. And sometimes I wonder, there's a question about whether or not humanity makes it in some of these episodes, right? Like, do we actually make it? But I think that that's a question for another day. But close your eyes with me for a second. Just close your eyes. Imagine a world where everyone is wealthy in the widest sense of the definition. Think you have time to focus on your health. You have ample time to focus on friends and family and building a community. You actually get to do work that gives you a sense of purpose. If it's something as simple as tending to the community garden or to educating, young children, think about that. And then financial wealth, how we could actually achieve financial wealth for everyone. I just think about the levels of innovation and creativity, what that would create if we all had access to more wealth. And then that would feel like a heaven on earth. There was a clip that went viral at the Afro-Axum Bank Summit some weeks ago. It was from Dangote. And he was saying that Africa could become a heaven in the next 5 years with the right stewardship. I think he's absolutely right. But I want to extend that to the world. We should extend that to the world. How do we get the world to feel like a heaven on earth? The population right now is 8 billion people globally, right? 50% of the global population lives at $7 a day or less. How in 2025? So we need collective vision in order to know where we're going, and we cannot let big tech just be the ones to decide. So what's the vision? I think we can actually use AI as a society builder, not just for the basic tools or creating these huge models and then letting big tech run with it, but how can we actually use AI to help build societies or to fill gaps where we haven't been able to, right? Combine that with a vision for the future that humanity can rally behind, this idea of everybody could be wealthy. If we combine those two things, where everybody had more than enough to thrive in life, that's the world I want to live in. And I feel like you do too, right? Okay, but first and always context. So again, 4 points I really want to cover today. 1, where have we come from? We need to know where we've come from in order to know where we're going. Some really interesting innovations that have come out that we need to talk about that could really alter or change the way that human beings live. But there are some concerns. So I want to go through that too. That's point 3. We'll focus on what are some of the concerns that people have. And then what have we actually traded? So some economies do have financial wealth, but what have we actually traded And what do we need to be mindful of as we look or explore this idea of everyone becoming more wealthy using technology? So let's get into it. Let's dive in. I want to focus now on where have we come from? So as you can see here, right, our origins are from Africa, quite literally, right? Humanity came from Africa, undisputed about 300,000 years ago. We spread around 70,000 to 100,000 years ago. We spread out. We got out, explored other continents, moved around, colonized the world, and look at us now. So fast forward to where we are, and it's mentally jarring. Psychologically, or even our psyches internally, I feel like our ancestors are telling us inside, shit's moving really quick. Things are moving fast. So this idea that we've transitioned between different ages, we've transitioned from the Stone Age. It took us just a few 100,000 years to go from that to the agricultural age, where we now had plots of land and we're producing food and we're protecting spaces and places that we consider to be our own. Then to the industrial age. It took an even shorter amount of time to then go to the industrial age. Think of manufacturing facilities and factories, places where things were being produced at mass. We went from that to the information age, really where we are now, the digitalization of everything. That brought us the internet, right? Brought us information, even in the form of early day papers, newspapers. From newspapers to the internet, the information age is really the period where many of us have grown up. And now we're moving into the augmented age, and the transition between the information age and the augmented age is so short. It's so short, but it's really indicative of the times and just where we are, and it's really exciting. So what's coming with this augmented age? That's point 2. Join me in the next episode where we're going to talk about this and more.